Right, so Weiner is a documentary about Anthony Weiner, who was a former congressman, and essentially what he did was he uploaded a dick pic, well, a crotch-covered, well, a pant-covered dick pic.
His cock.
To Twitter.
It was through shorts.
And that sort of ended his political career. However, he came back with he had a comeback, and then he sort of realised that. Well, I mean, so he came back and he was deciding that he was going to run for mayor, and then it happened again.
Yeah.
So and that's just the tip of the iceberg with this film, because it's everything that it's just one man's very unfortunate journey, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
The fact that I think that the thing that we need to talk about most of all is just Anthony Weiner himself, because he is, as the focus of the documentary, you follow him, and I was really shocked.
I think it's quite obvious he didn't want it to be in it as well. I think he makes it rather clear that he didn't really want to be the subject of the documentary.
He says at the end of the trailer as well, he says, I can't believe them in a documentary.
Yeah.
I can't believe they had such unparalleled access.
Yeah, I know.
To be honest, there's so much in there, and I read up after, he did not want Huma to be in the film.
No.
He was unhappy that they used the footage, and there's quite a lot of her.
There's loads of her.
So
she's a big point.
His wife Huma Abedin, who was the sort of the best friend of Hillary Clinton. I know she said, I've only got the quote is, I've only got one daughter, but I've had another one will be Huma.
Yeah,
they're really close, and
Done.
Yeah, they're really close.
Hello, Bill.
Well, she's parodied in an SNL skit.
Yeah,
and the Family Guy. I don't know, it was one animated comedy, I think, but it might be South Park. But yes, it's a very close relationship, and the film follows Weiner with amazing access, and you really get to see just deeper into a politician's psyche than I think any film I've ever seen. Because you really get to grips with just how this man can come over, because he's got flaws. Like he's not. If deep down in it, this is a man who's not nice in some parts. Like you can clearly see he's an incredibly conflicted man, but he's just so passionate about what he believes in. He really believes he can be a betterment for New York. But I really did feel bad for myself if I was feeling sympathy for him, because I didn't know if that was just making me a bad person or whether. Because you can't be inherently a good person if you cheat on your wife with up to 10 different women. Because it's a power play. They make a point to go on about the fact that it is essentially a power play. He's using his fangirls and his position as a respected politician to take advantage of these women. Essentially, they're throwing themselves onto him, and he's allowing that. He's taking advantage of them.
I think it is fine to feel sympathy for him, because
I did. That's the point. I felt great. I wanted him to succeed, and I was desperately sad. And when it gets close to the end, I was really, really behind him. It was like it was in a fictional film. I was probably behind him, and then you realise this man's kind of brought it on himself.
Yeah.
Really. And
I think
it's weird.
Not to say anything about Anthony that it isn't true, but sex addiction and that kind of stuff is kind of hard to overcome. It's the same as any addiction. It's hard.
We couldn't even begin to understand.
So I think. Okay, right. So I think it's okay to feel sorry for him. I'm just completely off track now. I'm just gonna leave it in because it's fine. It's too much faff to edit out. I think it's fine to feel sorry for him because addiction is something that can't be overcome. I think he's a human. I think it happens. I think the way he abuses his power is wrong. But I think it's refreshing to see a politician as lively, as caring, even with what's happened. He's trying to do good. And I think the documentary, whether it wants to or not, highlights everything wrong with politics. The fact that it's not about policy anymore, it's about personality.
I was gonna say, but cheating on stuff, I don't really give a shit.
No,
I think that because that's the most pertinent question about the documentary in focus, isn't it? Is because it's the question and the totality, the gladiatorial totalitarianism of the fact that do you judge a man based on just his personal life versus the true passion he feels for the job and the good he's trying to do? Because if you do judge based on his personal life, that should not matter. You should. Can you judge a man's character based on his personal life? Does that matter in terms of professional aspects? I
suppose
that's the conflict, isn't it? Really, the gladiatorial conflict.
In some respects, but I think what's more, I like Weiner as a person. I think he comes across as a likable man who's willing to challenge the system. He goes beyond to fight for what's right, and this is something. Totally aside, the people who sort of confront him on the streets and stuff being a pervert and stuff, it's separate. I think it goes on a case by case basis. Though I think there are some politicians who have done far worse than this, who deserve the slap on the wrist that they get. I think it depends, but I don't know. I like Weiner's politics. I think the fact that he's a Democrat and he's one of the ones who stands up for what he believes in and doesn't cower down to Trump and his cronies, then all power to him. I think it's an unfortunate story. I think it makes a good double bill with Tickled because it's sad. It's cringy and sad.
That's politics.
It's politics, yeah.
I just can't believe that you really do get such an incredible access into him, and you get to see his intimate moments
I
that
know,
linger,
'cause
and when
there's
he's clearly uncomfortable being on camera, and when he departs the camera to go speak to his wife privately and stuff like that.
There's some shots when he tells everyone in the room to leave, but the camera stays, and I just think like.
Yeah.
It's just odd that he wants that to be a thing. I mean, there's sometimes he does turn the cameras off, but for the most part, he does keep them on.
It's very weird.
The one thing I found very interesting as well about the whole story outside of it's in the film, but it's outside the film as well. The girl who exposes him links up perfectly with David Brent. She literally did anything to be famous.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get to. That. The fact that it's any lengths for fame, and this film does deal with fame, like the fame of a politician versus the fame of her who literally just coming out to
She's a porn star now,
they make a point to say that she made her own porn, and the fact that
she had sex with somebody who had HIV.
Yeah,
the
fact that she's clearly going there to exploit, just to confront him purely for that media attention, and it's all the fact that she's just exploiting his downfall for her own fame. And when it comes to criticisms of his personal life and attacks on his personal life, and she herself is exploiting for her own gain, it's pretty.
It's an entertaining watch, but as some political commentary, it's very depressing. I think it highlights everything wrong with politics. The most depressing thing of all is there's no way to fix it because of things like Fox News, because of things like CNN, because of things like Sky News here in the UK, because of Rupert Murdoch's newspaper empire. There is no way of overcoming this kind of media treatment of politicians, of public figures, of celebrities. It's all just one big bottle of bullshit. It's awful. It's things like Gaza. It's like the sort of double standards of wanting to get better, but also parading himself. Parading paparazzi photos of him on the papers and stuff. It doesn't. It's not right. It's not human. I don't see why we should care. I think the best thing to do is ignore this kind of stuff, and maybe at some point it'll go away. But I think the way that the media puts these things forward in such tantalising ways, clickbait, for example, that we can't ignore it because we're humans and
or are we dancers?
We lap this kind of stuff up because it's there and because we're told to like it, because this is the way they live, isn't it? Dear me. We're just being told to obey by the media. The whole thing, the whole Weiner thing, is just a shame. Simple as.
Yep.
Yep.
One man brought down by the machine.
I mean, he possibly brought himself down, but yeah. I definitely think that
it's up for debate.
It is. Yeah.
That's the thing.
Fascinating film. Really
you judge it on a man's character, or do you judge him on what he does in the field?
I think you've got to. I mean, definitely both, but.
Gotta be a bit of
but does a man's personal life lead to
yeah.
judging his character or influence his character?
Depends.
It's all these questions.
In some ways, depends on the
Lots of
actions of what they
questions.
do.
Yeah,
but yeah, people like gossip,
and that's one line where it's literally said like, I haven't committed any crime, which is true. He's committed adultery, which is a crime in the eyes of God and stuff. But
it's not adultery is a crime.
It's not a straight up crime.
It is a crime. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It is.
Oh well, he says it's not a crime. I didn't know it was a crime. I thought it was just frowned upon.
Yeah. Well, I know adultery is grounds for divorce. If it's bigamy, you can't do, and you can't marry more than one person at once.
Yeah, but it's not a crime.
Adultery is not actually a crime, but it's grounds for divorce. You could get a divorce for that. Fair play to the last Hoomer for going through it all. I mean, she must be made some pretty tough stuff to go through that twice, and then to be humiliated like that. Fair play, but yeah. Good film. Yeah. We'll move away from politics before I explode.
Oh, you get to see lots of the expressions in her face, man. It's just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Two sides of the story.
It's like the thick of it. Some of it is literally like the thick of it. Just watching
some to pop up at some point, to be honest.
Poor bumbling politician just gets hung out to dry, just getting ringed out by. Well, there's no Malcolm Tucker, but I suppose like there didn't need to be one because he made himself look like a tit. That's Weiner.
He would have a field day with Weiner, wouldn't
he? He would obliterate him on the spot. There'd be a scorch mark shaped like Anthony Weiner. I mean, it's funny because his name's Weiner as well. Yeah. We didn't mention that part. It's funny because his name is Weiner.